way of doing that straight away, Ray, is to score an early goal, isn't it? And they've got threats to do that. You mentioned Sakamoto and Radoni there, just as the players make their way out onto Fratton Park. Who else could cause the Pompey back line a bit of problem?
Well, I obviously mentioned also Mason Clark and Bissett up front. You said all he needs a goal. I mean, this is a kid that's got a fantastic future ahead of him. What he wants to do is put down a marker to the Coventry fans that he's also going to be someone in that 18-yard box that can finish off the chances that's been created. If you look at the stats, Faye, when Coventry play, have a look at much possession they have in games. It's more than 50% virtually every game they're involved in. So they like to dominate the ball. It's about creating chances, scoring the goals. But Frank mentioned there about this stadium. I think when you win at old grounds like this, it means a wee bit more. Seriously, it means a little bit more than it would be maybe at some of the other grounds. And they'll know that they'll earn all 3 points if they get the victory today.
Absolutely, they will. Players are out on the pitch. A win would lift Portsmouth out of the bottom three, but Coventry can kick on with 3 points themselves. The question is, can they cope with the atmosphere at Fratton Park? Let's find out live here on Talksport 2. Sit back and enjoy in the company of former Liverpool midfielder Ray Houghton, alongside your match commentator Nigel Adley.
Thank you, Faye. Good afternoon once again. Christmas means congestion for footballers, but rather than fuming behind miles of tailbacks, they're gearing up for 4 games in 11 days, which is a test of stamina but also a chance for momentum. Points can be won very quickly, and for both of these clubs it could be a turning point after what's been a difficult first half of the season. Pompey, of course, had a difficult night live on Talksport 2 at Pride Park last Friday, losing to Derby by 4-0. 2 changes to that side. Riley Towler makes his first appearance since August, and Zach Swanson also returns at the back. Terry Devlin and Tom McIntyre drop to the bench. So it's Schmidt in goal, Swanson, Towler, Pack and Ogilvie the back 4. Potts and Dazelle in midfield. Ritchie, Lang and Murphy behind Bishop in attack. Coventry, of course, we heard them this time last week coming from behind to beat Hull at the CBS Arena, and Frank Lampard had said same again. Collins in goal, Van Ewijk, Thomas, Binks and De Silva their back 4. Sheaf, Torp and Sakamoto in midfield, with Radoni and Mason Clark in support of Bassett in attack. And our referee is Dean Whitestone. The last time he was here, the match against Millwall never took place due to a power cut, but I don't think we'll have the same problem here today, as 2 sets of players change around before kick-off, and there is a squally shower across Fratton Park at the moment. We mentioned the swirling wind before kick-off, and the rain has also started as well, and maybe that's something behind the decision of whoever's won the toss to change ends here, Ray.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a point in case there, Nigel. I've got to say it is much windier than I thought it was a little bit early. It certainly got up. There were water on the pitch before the game. There was no need to with the rain that was forecasted anyway. But the noise in the stadium is already there for all the listeners. And what's coming loud across loud and clear to everyone.
Well, when things are going well, Fratton Park is always loud, but now the team really need their crowd with their side in the relegation zone. But a victory today will lift them out of the bottom 3, and they could be looking up the table at Christmas time rather than down back towards the lower divisions, which is the situation at the moment. And it's Pompey who get the game underway here on the home of the EFL. Talksport 2 in their blue shirts, white shorts and red socks. A long ball played down the centre straight away by Schmidt, and we could see the wind having an impact there because it bounced up almost over the head of Brad Collins, the goalkeeper at the other end, who had to really backtrack quickly and claim that ball.
Well, Schmidt there, I mean, he's only a yard or 2 outside his 18-yard box. He sort of gently just poked it downfield, and it's gone. Must have been 70 yards. And it was actually Murphy who's playing on the right-hand side of the midfield for Portsmouth, and made the run in behind, and then the goalkeeper at the opposite end, Collins, misjudged it slightly, just came off the turf, and he had to go backwards to collect it. So you can obviously see the wind is playing its part.
Van Ewijk with a throw-in for Coventry on this near side in their white shirts, black shorts and white socks, all the way back to Brad Collins, Southampton born, so this game will have some meaning for him today along the south coast, as it's played long downfield again by Thomas. On this near side, the Coventry right, and Bassett with a look towards the assistant on this near side, Daniel Leach, hoping for a free kick but nothing given. But Van Avaak does have a throw in again on this near side. Back towards Collins. And as soon as this game has got underway, we can see what an impact the wind is having. It was very breezy when we arrived at the stadium around 10 o'clock this morning, and that wind has picked up significantly in the last hour or so.
It really has. I think even in the last 15-20 minutes, to be honest with you, because I watched the players warm up a little bit early, and it didn't seem to be as big a problem as it is at this moment in time.
Ogilvie heads the ball away on this near side. It's helped on by Matt Ritchie, making his 500th league appearance today. The player who started in the academy at Portsmouth, had a long time in the Premier League with Newcastle, but now back here looking to help his team establish themselves in the Championship, as Bishop takes a tumble on the halfway line and leaves a very muddy smear on the pitch as Lang wins it well from Thomas on this near side for Portsmouth, looking to attack down the left. He breaks into the penalty area, goes down, claiming he was clipped by Thomas, but the referee, Dean Whitestone, waves away the appeals, and quickly there was a break for Coventry. On the far side, Bassett waits in the centre. Mason Clark coming forward now down the left, low into the penalty area and turned in by Bassett, and Coventry lead within 2.5 minutes. A brilliant run by Mason Clark down the left, and the low ball in was perfect for Norman Bassett, and the young Belgian on his toes at the far post had a simple tap in, and it's Coventry who lead at Fratton Park inside 3 minutes.
Well, this is quite controversial, Nigel, because I'm just looking at Callum Lang, who's going to go and have a word with the referee, because at the opposite end of the field he believes that he was fouled. He's adamant that he was brought down. Now you can see the Portsmouth players all around the referee at the moment trying to get the point of view across to them, but what a break from Coventry down their left hand side, and it was Mason Clark with a lovely piece of skill. Initially Redoni made a great run from midfield. I thought he was the obvious choice to pull the ball back to, but he's fired across the 6-yard box to the back post, and we talked about Bassett and what a goal would do for him, and there he was at the opportune moment at the back post just to slide it into the back of the net to give Coventry the lead.
Well, John Mousinho was stood there on the edge of his technical area, arms outstretched.
You can't believe it.
He was talking to the fourth official, and I think he was saying to Alan Young, look, that should have been a free kick. But at the same time, he'd also be thinking, how on earth were we opened up so easily when we had the ball down by the corner flag at the other end?
The other thing with that, Nigel, is a lot of people switched off. A lot of the players thinking it's a free kick. No, they're not on top of their game. They're not focused on what they should be doing. So they allowed Coventry to break quickly. But all credit to Mason Clark over the left-hand side, and he spotted the danger, ran at the back line of Portsmouth and then fired the ball across the 6-yard box. Brilliant cross, and a finish to match.
Coventry leading, and a long ball played forward. Here is Bassett again. He is clean through, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The shot is blocked this time though by the right foot of Nicholas Schmidt, and Pompey were wide open there, and Bassett should have had a second within 5 minutes.
Oh, well, it's worrying times for John Mousinho, the Pompey coach at the moment, because obviously he wanted a fast start and he's not got that from his team. But how easy, just one ball over the top, Towler caught out of position, Bassett's pace was in behind. Do you know what, I didn't think he looked confident of taking it on. He took it on with his left foot and he sort of telegraphed where he was going to go with the shot, and Schmidt just got something on it to keep it out the goal, but that certainly should have been 2-0 to Coventry.
Well, Bassett scoring only his second goal for Coventry. His first one came in the home draw against Sheffield United, but they lead here with 5 minutes played on Talksport 2 by a 1-0. And Portsmouth, a team who have won once and lost 6, conceding the opening goal so far this season. And they're a team lacking goals and maybe lacking defensive confidence as well, because he's changed the back four and they've been wide open.
Yeah, they've been wide open. I mean, that was just one ball over the top. I mean, there wasn't a hard ball to deliver either, was it? There was so much space to play the ball into. But what was noticeable there, though, was the pace of Bassett. I mean, he got away from Towler quite easily, and it was a good save by Schmidt to keep it at 1-0. I like the shape of Coventry. Redoni said, I've not seen enough of him, but others who have told me he's not a natural number 10. I'll tell you what, he's picking up some fantastic positions and making some really good runs into the box.
Well, the Coventry fans away to our right chanting Frank Lampard's name at the moment. 2 wins, a draw and a defeat so far since taking over for Mark Robins, and they were difficult boots to fill, but clearly the Coventry fans are loving him at the moment.
Listen, they've filled their end there, and all credit to them. You know, we're only like 4 days from Christmas. It's not an easy journey from Coventry down to Portsmouth to watch the game, but they've come in their droves to support the club, and they're making a lot of noise to our right hand side.
6 minutes played on Talksport 2, and Coventry lead at Fratton Park by a goal to 0. They're underway as well in the Premier League. Villa 0, City 0. You can hear full commentary on that game over on Talksport. If you download the app, you can swipe between the two commentaries at your leisure. And it's also goalless in the early stages. Hull, Swansea and Sheffield Wednesday, Stoke also in the Championship. And there are no goals either in the games involving League 1 and League 2, although Barrow have just taken the lead at home to Fleetwood. Emile Aqua with the opening goal up at Holker Street today, but it's cold up there. As Pompey try and build down their right hand side, but the ball has gone behind, and it will be a goal kick for Coventry. Portsmouth beginning this game inside the relegation zone, a point behind Cardiff, but if you take out what happened last week, and it's a big if, they have won 2 of their last 5 after only 1 win in 14.
Look at the tactics from Coventry now. They've got 2 players away over on the left-hand side, which is Mason Clark and Rodoni, and then right on this right-hand side you've got Sakamoto and Bissett. So they're not putting anyone through the middle. And this is a tactic that they're working on, and this is to pressurise the 2 full-backs of Portsmouth.
Well, of course, they're pulling them wide, so as a result there's a massive hole down the middle.
Yeah.
Well, Frank Lampard has not had a huge amount of time to work on his team. He stood there, arms folded, with his long dark overcoat billowing in the wind here at Fratton Park, but he'll be happy with what he's seeing at the moment. And all he can do really with the flurry of games in the first half of the season and the Christmas period is just try and tweak 1 or 2 things, and maybe it's more man management.
Well, listen, keep getting results.
The players feel good about themselves.
Yeah, well, listen, they've only had that 1 defeat to West Brom, and as I said, you know, they could easily have got something out of that game, and they were well in it for large spells, and very unlucky not to get at least a point from the game, if not all 3. But they'll be buoyed by the way they've started this game. They've been on the front foot, took the game to Portsmouth, and there's evidence of the wind again. Schmidt with the ball down the right hand side to pick out Murphy, and he just caught with the wind, just took it straight out of play.
9 minutes played. It is a day to keep the high balls low, isn't it?
That's the old saying, yes.
Portsmouth 0, Coventry 1. Norman Bissett with the goal in the 3rd minute for the Sky Blues, as it's played forward high by Binks on the far side for Coventry. It will come straight back, and it will bobble behind for a goal kick. And after a promising start, Pompey have offered very little since conceding.
Well, of the 2 teams, you would certainly say there's more structures to the way that Coventry play. There's more thought about what they're trying to do, whereas Portsmouth are just struggling because they've got the wind with them. They can't get the balls played in properly. They're going a little bit too high, which the wind is just carrying the ball. They need to try and get the ball down in play, so they're looking at the midfielders, Potts and Dizelle, to get on the ball a little bit more.
Now Potts, son of Steve, on loan from West Ham. He plays it wide to the far side. Murphy comes in field, tries to play it forward to Lang, but again Coventry repel that. Sheaf with the early ball forward, looking for Bissett down the left. He was onside. A good ball back into the penalty area for Rodoni, but on the chase he just miscontrols and it spins away from him. And it was Towler looking to play offside there, but he was the player playing Bissett on. It stayed in.
But I've got to say, it's a mismatch in pace. Bissett he's really quick. He's lightning quick. He doesn't want to get involved in the build-up. Play hasn't come short. He wants in behind. He wants to utilise one of these major strengths, which is his pace. But I tell you what, the only thing Rodoni did wrong here, he should have hit it. When it came across to him, he should have hit it first time. Tried to be a little bit too clever from our point of view and bring it back on. Try to take the defenders out of the game by getting it back on his left foot. He was there to be hit first time with his right foot.
10 minutes played. Pompey 0, Coventry 1 here on Talksport 2. Ray Houghton, the former Liverpool and Aston Villa midfielder, with us here at Fratton Park. Coventry will head towards the comfort of mid-table if they win this game, maybe even into the top half. They are currently 10 points off the playoff, 7 points away from the bottom 3. So their season could still go one of 2 ways, as Sheaf plays a high ball wide to the far side, taken down well on the chest by Mason Clark, looking to tease Murphy. He comes in field, fighting Sheaf again, 25 yards from goal. Support in the wider area now from De Silva on the left, and further wide for Binks. The low cross into the penalty area is blocked and sent behind for a corner, but it's really good football from Coventry.
Brilliant. That's how you play in windy conditions. You don't let the ball go high. You pass and you move. No one's taking too many touches in possession of the ball. You've always got someone available. Work rate from them has been excellent. Frank Lampard will be delighted in the opening minutes of this game.
Corner kick on the far side for Coventry, and in this wind this could go absolutely anywhere. It'll be delivered high into the penalty area, and there are 4 white shirts waiting at the far post, including Mason Clark. It's in towards the near post, where it's headed away initially by Bishop. Binks lofts it wide to the far side again, headed down the line by Torp, and in the end Portsmouth will get the ball away, but very quickly the crowd here has been quietened by what they've seen in the opening 11 minutes.
Yeah, they've been hoping for a response. You can just see Matt Ritchie there trying to get his team higher up the pitch. I mean, he's not been involved at all. Murphy's had one little run, but they've not really been bossing at any stage this match, have they? I've been really impressed with what I've seen with Coventry. I think they've got a lot of technical players out there. Really like the 2 central midfielders in Torp and Sheaf. They've put a good shield in front of that back four. Very inexperienced back four when you look at age-wise. I mean, a lot of people talking about Van Avac at the full-back.
Now Lang coming forward down the right in towards Bishop. Try to sweep the ball in at the near post, but it spins away off the challenge of Thomas, and behind for Pompey's first corner.
Yeah, they've done really well. Good move down the right-hand side. Ball pulled back to Bishop. Hits it first time, but there's Bobby Thomas getting across from the right centre-back position to get the block, and all of a sudden you hear the noise with this corner kick that Portsmouth have got.
Still goalless at Villa Park over on Talksport. In League One, Lincoln lead Reading by a goal to nil. Bailey Cadamartri at Sinsel Bank, and Barrow now lead Fleetwood 2-0 in League Two. Theo Vassell with the second goal there. Portsmouth corner here with 13 minutes played, and Coventry leading by a goal to nil. And again, there is plenty going on inside the 6-yard area. It was almost swung straight into the net there by Ritchie, fisted away by Collins, and now gathered by Lang, who fires the ball in under the body of the goalkeeper, and it squeezes in at the near post, and Portsmouth are level thanks to Callum Lang. But Brad Collins, with the goalkeeping error, maybe saw it late, but he allowed the ball to squirm away through his gloves, and it crept over the line, and it's Portsmouth 1, Coventry 1.
Yeah, it was a good strike from Lang, but I've got to say the goalkeeper's at fault there. It's gone through him. You can see how disappointed he is. He's inside the 18-yard box. He's beside himself because he knows it was straight there to be caught, and he just went under his arms. I'm not even sure what he tried to do, but you know how that came about, Nigel? From the corner, in swinger with the left foot, instead of catching it, he punched it, and then the ball's still alive in and around his 18-yard box. Eventually comes to Callum Lang, strikes it with his right foot down towards the near post. He could have palmed it round the post, he could have caught it. I just think his confidence was not quite there, and it's just gone underneath him. And after a great start from Coventry City, all of a sudden you find yourself back on level terms, and this stadium is starting to get really lively now with the Portsmouth fans.
1-1 with only 14 minutes played here on Talksport 2. Callum Lang with his 6th of the season, and Coventry, who had opportunities to make it 2-0, are now pegged back, and Portsmouth have a free kick inside the Coventry half for a foul on Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, well, all of a sudden this is a no test for Coventry, isn't it? It's how they react after that positive start that they had. Could easily been 2-0 up with the I thought it was a better opportunity for Radoni than he made of it, where he brought it back inside when he really should have shot.
Well, the free kick was taken by Ritchie, but too quickly for Dean Whitestone's liking.
Yeah, but he did hit it straight against Sakamoto, so he got away with it there. But you can see what he's trying to do. Freddie Potts had made a good run down the left channel. It was an easy ball to pick him out because he's all on his own there.
Ritchie now will have to try something else with nearly 16 minutes played here at Fratton Park, which is now full of noise once again with that Pompey equaliser. Ritchie's free kick Swirled high towards Bishop on the volley, never got hold of it, almost breaks for Towler, but he also misses his kick. And now a long ball played forward for Coventry at the other end. Bissett was almost in there, but it was defended very well in a one-on-one situation by Swanson. Now Ritchie again, forward for Murphy, down the left-hand side. Murphy just unable to keep the ball in play, and he skitters away on his studs towards the Fratton end, and it will be a goal kick.
What a chance that was for Colby Bishop. He's got to head that, Nigel. And he's not confident he head it. He's waiting for it to try and hit it on the volley. It's coming over his shoulder, which made it much more difficult skill to get your shot on target. And he completely miskicked it. But all of a sudden, this game's just turned on its head, isn't it? Where Coventry were so much on top, and now the emphasis is now with Portsmouth. But you've got to be careful of Bissett, because his pace is a constant threat. You said it was good defending from Swanson. He's a little bit lucky, you know, because when the ball bounced, it just was in his favour. If it was a little bit a yard in front of him, Bissett would have been too quick for him. He would have been away.
Mason Clark on the far side, who now has 3 goals and 2 assists under Frank Lampard in 5 games, after only 1 assist in the 14 games he played under Mark Robbins this season. He has been a player rejuvenated by the change in manager, and he's on the ball again now, down the left-hand side, but the challenge quickly comes in from Potts, and as a result Coventry have to go all the way back to Brad Collins defending the Coventry goal away to our left-hand side. Collins now slips as he clears downfield, but gets the distance. Ogilvie heads it in field. It's missed by Potts. Appeals for handball against Radoni, but nothing given. And now Mason Clark can come forward again for Coventry down the left-hand side. Infield onto the right foot. Fires in the shot, comes back off the near post. Maybe Schmidt got a hand to that as well. And then he recovers with Sakamoto lurking.
What a save that is. That was a great save from Schmidt. He didn't see it till late. He had to react quickly down to his right-hand side to make the save from Mason Clark. Lovely run in field there, wasn't it? On his right foot, took the shot on. Keeper would come through a crowd of players, and that's why he had to make that sharp save to his right hand side. I think he actually touched onto the post and then back into his hands. But all of a sudden this game's really come alive. There's end-to-end stuff from both sides, chances at either end.
18 minutes played. Pompey 1, Coventry 1 on Talksport 2, the home of the EFL. Coming up later on, we have full commentary from the Premier League at Portman Road. Ipswich against Newcastle with Faye, Ian Danta and Perry Groves. Of course, the Sunday session with Sam Matterface will keep you up to date with all of the action tomorrow, and then we're back on Boxing Day. Every single Premier League game from the Boxing Day round, live and exclusive to the Talksport network, including from the Premier League at 12:30, Manchester City against Everton, followed by Forest against Spurs at 3, Chelsea against Fulham will also be the 3 o'clock kick-off here on Talksport 2. Wolves against Manchester United on Talksport at 5:30. Derby West Brom will be here on 2, and then a choice of listening at 8 o'clock. Liverpool against Leicester on Talksport, Stoke against Leeds on Talksport 2. All those games coming up on the Talksport network across Boxing Day, and the Premier League games not on Talksport or Talksport 2 will be available uninterrupted and in full on the Talksport app. Aston Villa now lead Manchester City by a 1-0 in our commentary game over on Talksport. Murphy with the ball into the near post, looking for Bishop, who again tries to skip the ball into the 6-yard area, but he's closed down by Binks, and it will be another Pompey corner.
He's always in there though, Bishop, isn't he, in and around the 18-yard box. He doesn't want to get involved in the wide areas, wants to stay in that central position, get his chances. There's 1 or 2 half chances, certainly one of them he could have done better with. This corner from the right hand side will be swung in by Matt Ritchie with his left foot. I'd be advocating put it right under the crossbar. That's what I'd be saying here. And you can see, look how many are inside that 6-yard box at the moment. Virtually every player is there.
Yep, and there is plenty of pushing and pulling going on, so Dean Whitestone will sort it out. John Duran with the goal for Villa over on Talksport against Manchester City at Villa Park. Elsewhere in League One, Wrexham lead at Bristol Rovers by 1-0. Elliot Lee with the opening goal at the Memorial Stadium. Still Lincoln 1, Reading 0. And in League 2, Barrow 2 up on Fleetwood, and it's goalless Doncaster against Tranmere. Corner kick swung in high by Ritchie and fisted clear again by Collins in the same manner. which led to the equalising goal.
Yeah, well, at least he got a bit of purchase on that one. It's gone out virtually to the other side of the pitch, out for a throw-in. But in fairness to Matt Ritchie, he's whipping in some great balls. You watch the movement in the Portsmouth players. They actually start inside the 6-yard box, then they move out, and then they run back in. So they're running in at pace, and they're going to get the advantage of, with that momentum, getting a bit more height than the static Coventry players inside the 6-yard box.
Also no goals in the Championship. Hull against Swansea and Sheffield Wednesday against Stoke.
He scored some goals, that John Duran, isn't he?
He has. And not always off the bench.
No.
21 and a half minutes gone here. Portsmouth 1, Coventry 1 on Talksport 2. Free kick though for Portsmouth on this near side. Better than a corner down their left. Potts and Ritchie will be over it. And again, all of the big men are forward here for Pompey, looking to attack this. And it's an in-swinger from Potts towards that near post, and it's hammered away to safety by Bissett, and it will be a throw-in for Portsmouth.
Yeah, not a particularly good ball in there, was it, from Potts? Too flat, too low. He had plenty of height as far as his teammates are concerned inside that 18-yard box.
Potts again with another cross in. It's flicked on by Bishop and kneed away at the back post and behind in the end. And it will be another corner kick. It was Binks who got the touch, but at the moment nobody's picking up Colby Bishop, or his movement is very good.
His movement's good, you know, he's a powerful striker as well. I'm talking about a couple of young lads trying to pick him up.
High ball into the penalty area, and it was nodded down by Towler and eventually hammered away to safety by Bissett. Gathered again by Lang on the edge of the penalty area, but dug out by Van Ewak. And Coventry will look to counter-attack again with Mason Clark on the far side, but Swanson gets there first to slide the ball out of play. You
get the feeling, not just with the conditions, but with the quality that both teams have got when you're in that forward line as well, you're going to get more goals, aren't you? It just looks that way to me.
Yes.
Bishop, look, you know, he's a threat. It's great to see him back playing at this level again, and you know, he looks like he's going to try and make up for the time that he's been out the first 11. It's a lot more competitive, the game now, where Coventry were bossing it earlier on. Certainly now Portsmouth have got a foothold in it.
Well, Coventry dominated the opening 10 minutes, should have added to their lead. Had they done so, you just get the feeling that Pompey wouldn't have come back.
But look at the mismatch now. Look where Bishop is. De Silva's picking them up.
And it's high towards that far post. Bishop rising to win the header. And it's Sheaf who will step in to bring the ball away, and he evades the challenge of Swanson. And Sheaf has got some room now down the left-hand side. Slip forward to Rodoni, great run from midfield. Schmidt comes out to challenge him. The ball is loose inside the penalty area. Rodoni quickly back to his feet. He's helped out by Bissett on the left-hand side. Bissett goes down as he's challenged by Pack, but all Coventry get is a throw-in on the far side.
Well, Rodoni thinks he should have been maybe a penalty there. What a run. I mean, the amount of ground that he made up there. I think it might have been Top that found him with the through ball, but credit to Schmidt, the goalkeeper. He came out, he didn't go down early, so he didn't force the issue. He waited, bided his time, got a little touch on the ball, hence the reason why the referee didn't point to the spot for a penalty.
24 minutes played. Throw in for Coventry on the far side. It'll be taken by De Silva, as we have to duck down here because there's been a lot of work done on the television gantry here at Fratton Park since I was last here, which is some time ago, and as a result we can't see the sky, but we can work out it's been raining and it is very windy as Portsmouth come forward again now with Lang, but he's closed down by Torp, and Lang then fouls Torp, and it will be a free kick for Coventry. And they quickly play it forward, looking for Bissett again, who takes it down on his chest. He can break into the penalty area down the right, goes for the near post, and he drags it into the side netting in the end, but it was the right idea, I think, trying to catch Schmidt out.
Yeah, just the wrong option, though, I thought, because Sakamoto made a great run from the right wing into a central position. You can see straight away that Bissett is a natural left-footed player, wants to get it on his left side. Remember when he went through 1v1 with Schmidt, he got it on his left foot, tried to curl it beyond him. The keeper made a really good save, and there maybe tried to catch him out the near post, but I thought the better option was just to slide the ball into Sakamoto, who was in a better position in the centre of the goal there, maybe to beat the keeper.
And a rare moment of calm in what's been a frenetic first half before it's hammered long downfield once again by Thomas for Coventry, looking for Bissett, and he is always showing, and he's always available for that ball in behind.
I really like him. I can see why people have been talking him up as a potential Premier League player for the future, because he's got all the attributes, good height about him. It's just he'll learn how to finish the older he gets, but
he's offside now.
Yeah, he's just got to watch that. He's not looking across the line. But still, I thought he was 20. Is he 19, 20, round about that?
20, already 20 a full Belgian international.
Yeah, 20 years of age. He's got that awareness to. He wants to run in behind. He's just got to sometimes look to see where the defenders are, because if it comes to a foot race, he's quicker than Pack, he's quicker than Towler, so he doesn't need to go early. He just has to time it right.
Well, Pompey having to deal with another long ball forward. Schmidt outside his penalty area, hammers the ball into the crowd on the far side.
I'll just say he's just complaining Bissett to the official. The official's closer to us, so the incident happened on the other side of the pitch. But there's no doubt with Pack and with Towler, they know they can't keep pace with him. So they're actually grabbing hold of him to try and stop his runs in behind, and he's just getting a little bit frustrated, the youngster.
Well, Bissett scoring in the 3rd minute here. That is the 10th goal Portsmouth have conceded in the opening 15 minutes of games this season, the most in the EFL. And if you continue to make slow starts, even though they've recovered here, it will always put you under pressure, and you're having to rebuild confidence within a game time and time again.
And just when you come off the back of a 4-0 defeat as well.
But they have recovered the situation here. It's 1-1 with 27 minutes played. And Portsmouth have a throw in, almost level with the edge of the Coventry penalty area on this near side. Ogilvie finding Ritchie, and now the cross into the penalty area from Dazelle. But Sakamoto will clear, but the flag has been raised, and it will be a free kick for Coventry for offside. And crucially, perhaps, Pompey haven't been picking up points against teams around them. Only 9 points in 9 games against sides in the bottom half of the table.
Well,
they've got to improve that.
Yeah, of course, you've got to improve upon that. But you can listen, when I look at Coventry and you look at the league positions at the start of today's game, they were 16th in the Championship. After the result last night for Luton, with them winning against Derby, they put them above Coventry. They don't look like a team to me that should be in 16th place. What I've seen of them, technically very, very good. And I think the more games they play together, because I talked about the average age of only been 24 years and a bit, there's a lot of quality there. And you can see that, it's evident. They're all good on the ball, movement's good. You've got pace in the wide areas, particularly over on that left-hand side with Mason Clark. You talked about his form recently. Bissett up front, he looks like he's going to be a quality player. So there's a lot for Frank Lampard to work with this Coventry side.
And there's been some talk he might be busy in January, but when you look at this, they may need 1 or 2 players just for depth. But
I was only looking at the programme, and you look at the Portsmouth squad to Coventry. There was quite a lot more Portsmouth players, and they've got a lot of injuries. But that's something I'm sure Frank Lampard will be looking at. And for John Mousinho, he'll be happy with the way that his team's reacted. They went a goal behind, but they've got themselves back into it.
Almost a ball through there for Callum Lang, which nearly played him in, and then a late challenge by Ritchie on this near side on Sakamoto. Coventry looked to play the quick free kick. In fact, it wasn't Sakamoto, it was Van Avac who was caught. Yeah,
Avac was down, so the referee pulled it back for the challenge, because Avac was still on the floor at that particular moment. But Bobby Thomas seen that Sakamoto had made a run down this right hand side, and that Ogilvie was caught out of position, so his first thought was forward pass, play in behind. The referee pulled it up for the initial challenge, but it was the right thing to do, and it shows you an awareness, even at 23 years of age, from your centre backs. They don't want to do the simple things. They're looking for the most positive pass to play.
Villa still leading Manchester City by 1-0 in our commentary Game Over on Talksport. Pack going all the way back towards Schmidt. A long ball forward from him again, but straight out of play. He was looking for Murphy on the far side, but Coventry will have the throw in, and it's been
Matt Ritchie's just trying to scream at his back four to get them much higher up the pitch. He just feels that there's too many gaps between the strikers and the midfield players.
Well, the flag's up for offside now against Bissett. He won the ball, almost played it through to Sakamoto, but he came back from an offside position.
I think he felt that it was given for a coming together or a foul, rather than the fact that he was in an offside position. Just something he's got to learn. That's not a lot to get right, that.
No. Now Ogilvie, he's offside as well, so...
Get your head up, lads. It's quite easy. Look across the line.
The Coventry have scored more than Burnley this season, who are third in the table, but conceded more than Hull now, who are bottom, and you can see why.
Yeah, you can see why. I mean, don't forget, we talked about the age of the two centre-halves, so they're only 23. You know, the youngsters still learning the game, and you expect them to make mistakes.
Now Thomas, as the flag is raised for offside again.
Yeah, Bishop was offside. He's trying to say he wasn't interfering in the play, but he's offside because he was near the ball and he stopped one of the Coventry players getting to it. Fans get upset about it, but that's genuinely the case there.
Still no goals in the other games in the Championship so far today in Yorkshire, and we will be in Suffolk at 3 o'clock here on Talksport 2 with exclusive commentary to National Radio of Ipswich against Newcastle. Adrian Durham will have all the goals as they go in Game Day Live over on Talksport, as Redoni claims he was pulled down by Pack inside the Pompey half, and he was, and it's a free kick and a yellow card for the Pompey captain.
Yeah, and rightly so, it was a yellow card because he was beaten there by the turn of Redoni, who got away from him, and they had options over on this right hand side. Really good play out from the back though, didn't panic. Passing was very crisp into feet. Good turn from Redoni to get away from Pack, and Pack just brought him down. Certain yellow card for him.
Well, they do have 6 long-term injuries at the moment. Portsmouth, as Bissett looks to make a run into the penalty area again, and guess what's happened? The flag is raised.
Yeah, and he was. He's just going a little bit early. But I like his movement. I like his determination, desire to get into the right areas. It's just the timing of his runs just a little bit off at the moment. But you know what? If they get that right, he's going to be through 1v1 because he's got too much pace for the two centre-halves.
Well, he was through 1v1 very soon after he scored the opening goal. Should have made it 2-0, but...
And you had Redoni's chance as well, where he should have hit it first time.
So they've had opportunities, Coventry.
He's offside again.
And he's offside again. The game is being played at the moment in a portion of the field 10 yards either side of the halfway line.
Yeah, well, he's apologising to his teammates because he's just not thinking. I don't know if he's obviously because of what's going on, and his head's not quite there as far as the offside rules. Well, you can't give offsides in the opposition's half. That's mad. That can't be right.
Well, the free kick can't be given there. The free kick's got to be from where he made the run from.
Yeah.
You can't. Well.
But when he was offside, he wouldn't be offside in his own half, would he? He can't be. So he had to be offside
from where he was.
Yeah. So they've just taken it 5 yards ahead of where they should have.
Anyway, here is Murphy coming forward now. He goes down, but Lang continues. Lang with the cross in, but it's blocked at the near post by Binks. And it breaks down for Portsmouth again, and then Bissett this time was holding on to Pack.
That should be a yellow card.
And it will be a free kick for Portsmouth.
Yeah, that should be a yellow card though for Bissett, because he knew exactly what he was doing there. Caught in his heels, ball was played into his feet, he wanted it in behind, and then he's had to come back to get close to Pack and just pulled him back.
34 minutes play, Portsmouth 1, Coventry 1 here on Talksport 2. If you've just joined us as the sun comes out here at Fratton Park. Coventry ahead inside 3 minutes. Pompey level in the 14th minute. Norman Bissett's goal cancelled out by Callum Lang, and Bissett now on his backside on this near side. Just got a bump from Marlon Pack, but at the moment Bissett is getting a crash course in Championship football.
But did you see what his managers done to him? Frank just went, get up.
Get up.
Nothing more than that, just get up. Never mind lying down there, get up and get on with the game.
Now Collins clears long downfield once again. Headed in field by Ogilvie. Taken down well by Van Eyck. And a long raking diagonal ball. Swanson rather got caught underneath it, but he was given a shove there by Mason Clark as he leapt for it, and it's a free kick.
Absolutely no need. He's complaining the referee didn't do anything wrong, but you and I could see that, and we're 60 yards away from the play. He just nudged him. You know, Swanson wants contact. He wants you to give away a free kick so he doesn't have to really defend it as well as he should. But Van Eyck, what control that was when the ball played down the line there. You can see he's got a bit of quality about him.
Well, of course, he's come through Dutch academies where that sort of technical ability is always highly prized. Ogilvie heads the ball in field from the free kick for Portsmouth towards the edge of the penalty area. Now Dazelle, and it's back with Towler again, playing his first football for Portsmouth since August. Clipped down the line, but clipped straight into the path of Van Aback, who clears it long downfield, packs ball forward looking for Potts, only finds Sheaf managing to outmuscle Lang on the halfway line, and Sakamoto on this near side will go back towards Van Aback. And here is Collins again, and a good ball from him up towards Torp on the halfway line, slipped down the side looking for Bissett. Ogilvie though coming in to make the challenge. Pack on the edge of the penalty area is able to pirouette away from Bissett, and Towler will clear the ball downfield, only onto the head of Van Aback though. But Ogilvie now looking to release Bishop on this near side. Bishop being held down by Collins and Thomas, and eventually dragged to the ground by Thomas, and it will be a free kick.
Yeah, good build-up play there, hold-up play should I say, from Bishop. Great strength to hold off Thomas, and Thomas just looked a little bit naive there, didn't he? He had his arms around him rather than just staying a yard off of him. You don't have to always go and win the ball, but you got to say, right, okay, you're not going to turn me, you can lay the ball backwards, but you're not going to get in behind me. And he's just a little bit too eager to try and win it.
37 minutes played, Portsmouth 1, Coventry 1 here at a bright and breezy Fratton Park now, and grey skies but sporadic watery winter sunshine, as the free kick is played high in by Ritchie towards the far post, and Ogilvie with the shot on the run straight into the arms of Collins.
I tell you what though, he done really well there, because that wasn't an easy ball to take on. Here's a break straight away though, from one end of the pitch to the other.
Bowled out by Collins to find Sakamoto down the right hand side, burst into the penalty area for Coventry, now comes square, clip wide looking for Bassett, and in the end the ball goes out of play on the far side for a throw-in.
That's what you call end-to-end football, isn't it? One end you've got Ogilvie with the strike with his left foot, really tough shot to take on, and looked like it could have been on the half volley straight at the goalkeeper, who collected it quickly there, Collins, and then threw a lovely ball down the pitch to pick out Sakamoto on this right hand side. And when he came in field, he just looked like he didn't really know where he was going to go. He didn't have a picture in his mind where the final ball was going to go, and in the end he's played it out to that far side for a throw into Portsmouth.
Hull 1, Swansea 0. Elsewhere in the Championship, João Pedro with the opening goal for the Tigers, and if they win today they will get off the bottom and they could be outside the relegation zone. Also in League 2, Doncaster lead Tranmere by a goal to nil. Joseph Olowu scoring the opening goal at the Keepmoat as Portsmouth win a throw-in on the far side. It's in towards Bishop, but again he's unable to hold the ball up. De Silva finding Mason Clark on the far side, but it's all a bit untidy, and Pack wins it back for Portsmouth, and a high ball forward again is nodded down by Sheaf for Torp, and wide towards De Silva again, and a good ball played forward to Bassett. This time he's onside inside the penalty area, looks to turn himself round, he's eventually crowded up, and he almost manages to dribble the ball all the way through, and in the end it's cleared off the line by Ogilvie, and it will be a corner, but Bassett there almost picked his way through all the bodies and almost all the way into the back of the net.
How did he get through to where he did? I'm not quite sure. I thought he was offside initially. Once again he's pointing where he wants the ball played through. I thought he was ahead of the last defender. I looked at the assistant who's closest to us, who wasn't up with play, so he couldn't give offside, but eventually it was Ogilvie on the line who got back to help his goalkeeper out and put it behind for a corner.
Torp will take it on the far side. It will be an in-swinger for Coventry. Bishop will head it back out towards the corner taker, opens out the angle, a second cross into the penalty area, nearly falls for Thomas at the far post. Pompey's initial defending wasn't convincing, and now Sakamoto tries to win it on this near side, but the whistle has gone to give a free kick for Pompey inside the penalty area.
You see the obvious reason why Bishop's in the team. It's not just for his hold-up play up front, but when he comes back in defensive situations, every ball that's come in from a set play, he's won it. He's been the first on to. He's been that player at the near post, big, strong, physical, good in the air, helps his teammates out, cleared the danger initially, and then there was a free kick given to Portsmouth by the referee.
A roundup of the scores elsewhere so far today, with 5 minutes to play in the first half. 1-1 here, Villa 1, Manchester City 0 over on Talksport in the Premier League. Hull 1, Swansea 0 in the Championship. Goalless at Hillsborough between Wednesday and Stoke in League 1. Bristol Rovers 0, Wrexham 1. Lincoln 1, Reading 0. And in League 2, Barrow 2, Fleetwood 0, Doncaster 1, Tranmere 0. As Ogilvie is the victim of a high boot on this near side from Sakamoto. And it will be a free kick for Pompey, midway inside the Coventry half on their left.
He's been a little bit disappointing, I've got to be honest with you, Sakamoto. Not really got involved in the game. If you look at the other contributions with Mason Clark on the left, been very, very good. Sheaf and Top have done well in the middle of the park. Redonia really like. And obviously up front, Bissett's movement at times is really good. He's just got to time it a bit better. And I think Frank Lampard will be saying to these players, look, listen, technically we're better than them. They've really competed well to keep themselves in the game, but it's just our final ball and the timing of it. If we get that right, we'll get more chances in the second half.
Free kick for Portsmouth, which will be taken by...
This is where they look a threat in when Richie delivers in.
Absolutely.
Virtually every ball he's delivered in there, they've had half a chance.
High ball in from Ritchie towards that far post. Diving in was Ogilvie, headed away by Rodoni. And eventually hammered to safety by Sheaf. And I know the wind is playing its part, but neither team is showing any real conviction here under high balls defensively.
But quality ball in though once again, isn't it? You've got to say that about Matt Ritchie and the delivery that he puts into the 18-yard box. He just whips it in with real pace. And if you've got competitors in there, and that's what you've got, because Ogilvie's got on the end of 2 already, Bishop's got on the end of 2 or 3 himself. You know, you're getting Pat coming forward.
And here's an opportunity now. Lang breaking into the penalty area and firing the ball high into the net. Callum Lang once again for Pompey, and they lead by 2-1. There seemed to be very little on when he gathered it, but he came inside on the right and absolutely leathered it high beyond Collins. And it's Portsmouth 2, Coventry 1, and they could be heading out of the relegation zone at Christmas.
Well, all credit to them, having looked the second best team for long spells in this game. They've got themselves back at 2-1 up, and it was just a long diagonal ball over to the right hand side, and got to say they didn't deal with it at all, the back line of Coventry. But give credit to Callum Lang. What a finish this is, I tell you what, top quality. He's hit it with such pace that the goalkeeper can't get anywhere near it. It's just nestled in the top corner. Great finish, and the Portsmouth fans are delighted to see their team 2-1 up.
Well, Pompey, who are almost swept away in the opening 10 minutes of this game, now lead 2-1, 2 minutes before half-time.
Well, I'm glad to say we said there could be more goals in this game. At least we've got another one. I still think in this second half there will be a few more opportunities because of the conditions, and I think if Coventry can, sort out just a final pass in the final run, they'll get chances that way. But having been, a goal down and coming back from a 4-0 defeat last match against Derby, they've showed a lot of resolve, this Portsmouth side.
Now Ritchie coming forward down the left-hand side. His cross into the penalty area is blocked by Thomas, and it will be another opportunity for Ritchie to deliver a ball in with a corner on this left-hand side.
It's a pity Ritchie can't use his right foot, because his left foot's been a bit of a wand in this first half with the quality of balls he's put in. I think it's Potts who's going to take it now.
Played short towards Ritchie again, low ball into the penalty area, bounces away off the shins of Thomas for another corner.
They don't look confident in the box, do they? They're looking around each other, the Coventry players, have to say who's picking up, who's not. I mean, they had a 2v1 situation, they've got it again. And they should be going short. Between Potts and Ritchie, they should be utilising this once again. And
it's played short now to the edge of the penalty area. Murphy with the shot, and it's blocked by Bissett. The ball bounces high in the air. Murphy heads it back in field. Park in the end goes all the way back towards Swanson and further back to Schmidt, who clears long downfield again, and it's headed away on the far side by De Silva. And now Mason Clark for Coventry. Rodoni piling into the challenge on the halfway line. There'll be 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Portsmouth leading by 2-1.
Great tackle there from Potts in the middle of the park there, fully committed. There was a 2 or 3, I've got to be honest, 2 or 3 of the Coventry players went in there half-hearted. It looked like they didn't really want to go in there and make the tackle, but Potts is just in his own half at the moment, just feeling the effects of that challenge that he went in for, because he was fully committed to win it.
Well, Potts is just down for a moment, so play will be halted, and Frank Lampard will have a job to do at half-time, because his team started the game so well.
I don't think it's a big thing to do, it's just timing. Don't forget they've got the wind in the second half as well. That will be in their favour, and particularly with the pace of Bissett, you know, all you've got to do is get his timing right, get the ball over the top, and he'll get chances.
Free kick played high by Torp towards the edge of the penalty area for Coventry. Thomas tries to play it wide to the far side, but the challenge comes in from Swanson, and I think the flag was up for offside again. So it will be a free kick.
Yeah, it was hard to see that one, because it was just a Torp he looks like he's got a little injury at the moment as well. Torp, he's not moving freely inside the centre circle, but he was the one that delivered the ball in from this right hand side on the diagonal over towards Thomas, who'd gone forward from the centre back position, but the flag went up quite late there from the assistant.
Harry Darling has scored an equaliser for Swansea at Hull in the Championship. It's 1-1 on the stroke of half time there. Here Portsmouth have come from behind to lead 2-1 against Coventry, as the ball is thumped into Ogilvy's chest by the defending Van Avaak, and it will be a goal kick. And we're into 2 minutes of added time at the end of what has been a lively first half.
Isn't it? I've really enjoyed it. You know, you've got the quality from Coventry possession of the ball, but Portsmouth showed a lot of resolve. You've got to give them a lot of credit for that.
Well, the home crowd rise to acclaim their team at half-time. They made the worst possible start. Norman Bissett turning in the cross from Ephraim Mason-Clark in the 3rd minute to give Coventry the lead, but Callum Lang driving a shot under the body of Brad Collins to equalise after 14 minutes, and then he hammered a shot high above him 3 minutes before half-time to give Pompey the lead. Half-time, it is Portsmouth 2, Coventry 1. Let's go back to Faye Carruthers at Portman Road.
Well, that was quite a fun 45 minutes, wasn't it, Ray? I thoroughly enjoyed that. Callum Lang on the score sheet again, and 2 cracking goals as well. But I feel like we're a bit soothsayery, aren't we? You talked earlier on about not being a betting man, but the conversation that we had about Norman Bissett needing to score and Coventry City needing to score early to quieten the Fratton Park crowd is exactly what happened.
Yeah, it was, for you're quite right, and he had another chance quite soon after that, where he went through after some really good work, showed his pace, 1v1 against the goalkeeper Schmid, sort of telegraphed what he's going to do with it, try to curl it beyond the goalkeeper into the far corner. Keeper just got enough on it. Then there was another opportunity for Radoni, who I really like. He's made some really good runs from midfield, but in fairness to Portsmouth, without really doing a great deal, they got a few set plays, put them under pressure, and they buckled a little bit defensively, Coventry. The goalkeeper Collins, you know, the first corner that came in from the right hand side with the left foot of Ritchie, he sort of fumbled it, he sort of punched it, but there was no commitment about it. Portsmouth kept it alive, and then the shot from Callum Lang went under his body. Poor mistake from the keeper, and he realised that. And then, you know, it was a much more even a game after that. But Portsmouth got that second goal, and certainly going in at half-time, they'll be the happier of the two sides.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I'll tell you what, I felt as if Callum Lang had the bit between his teeth, because he thought he'd been fouled in the build-up to Coventry's goal. I've got the benefits of replays here at Portman Road. He fell over.
Did he? Oh, good.
He did. I mean, it may have been the slightest of touches, but no way.
Not enough.
Not enough. His own momentum kind of took him over. But for both of those goals, yes, the goalkeeper, without a doubt, to blame for the first one. It had gone through the defender's legs as well, so he was slightly unsighted, but you can't get beaten at your near post like that.
Faye, when you're here and you see the reaction of the keeper, you can tell exactly. He knew straight away that he done wrong, that he should have done a lot better with his strike. He wasn't happy with his goalkeeping position there and what he tried to do, and I think it was the effect of the punch initially from the corner, where he could have caught it. He wasn't under immense pressure, wasn't bodies in and around him coming in to try and put him under pressure. He could have just collected it, but he didn't. He wanted to punch the ball out to the far side, and then they didn't react to the strike that came in. Nope,
they certainly didn't. And I tell you what, De Silva will be really disappointed with his performance against Lang on the right hand side as well, because he wasn't strong enough at all. Brilliant first touch from Lang when he took it down, but he held off De Silva, and that finish on the right-hand side was beautiful. 7 goals for the season now, Callum Lang, and with this kind of form, he's on a hat-trick obviously heading into the second half. You feel confident for Pompey going forward?
Well, just if you listen to what Nigel said during the course of the game, he was talking about the goals that Coventry have conceded. It's down there with the team at the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've conceded that many goals, so there's a reason for that, and Frank Lampard's trying to look at the reasons why he can change it, the personnel he can bring in, but you can't defend in the manner that they did and think you're going to keep winning games. Going forward, they look very good, but defensively they look a little bit weak. And I talked about the ages of them. 2 centre halves are 23. J.D. Silva's 26. Van Avik is 25 over in the right back position. So it's a young back four, but you've got to learn quickly. You've got to grow up quickly. You've got to minimise your mistakes. And they've made 2 huge ones that have led to the 2 goals for Pompey.
Yeah, they've got to get themselves back into it. Coventry, that's for sure, but Pompey going in on top at half-time. Go get yourselves warm. I know it's windy down at Fratton Park. I'll speak to you both very, very shortly. So Portsmouth 2, Coventry 1. Let me run through the rest of the half-time scores for you in the 12:30 kickoffs, including the live and exclusive game we have over on Talksport right now between Aston Villa and Manchester City. Pep Guardiola had made 6 changes after that Manchester derby defeat, but it's not made any difference whatsoever because Aston Villa lead by a 1-0 thanks to John Duran, keeping Ollie Watkins out of the side again, set up by Morgan Rogers, and putting the home side ahead after 16 minutes. Into the Championship, it's Hull 1, Swansea 1. Hull just cannot keep a lead at the moment. João Pedro put them ahead on 34 minutes, but Harry Darling equalised on 42. Hull still rock bottom under Ruben Sales. They haven't won since the 1st of October. It would be huge for them if they could get 3 points on the board. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Stoke 0 is the other Championship game, but Sheffield Wednesday are going to have 45 minutes to do it with 10 men because Deshaun Bernard was sent off for a second yellow card late in the first half. Into League One, and Wrexham lead Bristol Rovers by a 0 thanks to Elliot Lee, so that brings Wrexham at the moment up to second, although of course Birmingham City have 3 games in hand. Lincoln against Reading, Lincoln ahead after 8 minutes thanks to Bailey Cadamartin. Louis Holtzman was sent off on 37 minutes for Reading, which means they have an uphill battle, and I'll tell you what, they've been struggling since Ruben Sellers left to go to Hull City. Lincoln moving above them into 5th. In League 2, Barrow lead Fleetwood by 2-0. Aqua and Vassell on the score sheet for Barrow, and Doncaster lead Tranmere by a 0. Joseph Alowu on the score sheet a few minutes before the end of the first half. You're up to date on everything else going on around the country. Half-time at Fratton Park, Portsmouth 2, Coventry 1. Second half commentary coming next, and we'll also look ahead to our exclusive 3 p.m. Premier League match here at Portman Road as Ipswich host Newcastle.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL.
Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Hey! I've got one more game. I'm about to
dial in.
Load up.
Now enter in the lobby.
Give me the
controller.
Get your own. I'm doing a side quest.
Downloading a new skin.
I'm back with a clan.
With a squad, let's go. Want to play co-op?
Got a mission to do. Attack. Fire in the hole.
You're gaming and caning the broadband? Wi-Fi 7 on EE makes every device work better, even yours.
Yo, guys, let's loot.
Go. We're moving.
Upgrade to Wi-Fi 7 on EE and we'll sort the switch for you.
43.7% UK availability. Smart Hub Pro and Smart Wi-Fi Pro available with selected EE full fibre plans. Terms apply.
This January, the energy price cap is due to rise. But with E.ON Next, you can start your year on the right track. Our Next Pledge tariff guarantees to keep your energy prices below the cap. So if the cap goes up or down, you're still winning. Beat the price cap and save with E.ON Next. Switching is a breeze. Visit eonnext.com today. Next pledges a 12-month fixed-term tariff, rates adjusted quarterly to stay below Ofgem's price cap. Your bill depends on usage. T's and C's apply.
At Morrison's, prepare for the greatest show at home. With your More card, you can get 100% fresh British veg for 10p a pack, including carrots, parsnips, sprouts and whole swede. Now that's show-stopping value. Majority of stores and online. More card are at required 16 plus. Excludes Morrison's daily selected veg 500 grams to 1 kilo. Without cards 62p to 85p. Ends 25th of December.
Imagine your dream holiday made possible by comparing cheap flights on Kayak. Walking on an unspoilt goes on for miles beach on the Sardinian coast, plunging into the splendour of an idyllic lagoon in Greece. Ah, yes, this is the life. All you have to do is actually book it. Don't holidays. Use Kayak to compare prices from hundreds of travel sites and airlines to find your dream deal. Search Kayak and go see for yourself.
New Impact Sub from William Hill prepares you for those unexpected player subs by keeping your bet builder running for longer. So when you've backed your star man to have the game of his life, but the manager says he's done, your bet isn't. If your selected player comes off, we carry the bet onto the substitute. Enhance your big match bet builders with Impact Sub. That's proper value from William Hill. Available online and in shop. Selected competitions and markets. Cash out on online bets only. Available until players substituted. Full T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on Talksport. Mid-morning radio that's up for the job.
I'm hot under the collar with this.
Concrete sports talk.
Edge that one in stone.
Rapid setting opinion.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Oh, no. Come on.
Big names all bagged up.
David Moyes, John Hart, Ian Rush.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Delivered weekday mornings from 10 on Talksport by Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. The rousing radio broadcast.
He hits it first time. What a volley, what a goal.
Game day.
Pushing the apex of live football.
EFL Game Day Live.
On Talksport 2.
Out to Gordon, right wing cross into Isaac. Brilliant header. Up high and powers it beyond David Raya. Newcastle United 4, Leicester City 0. And it finished Brentford 4, Newcastle 2. West Ham burst the Geordie bubble. West Ham United come here and win by 2-0.
Must be a little bit frustrating for the Newcastle fans at this moment in time.
I don't think we've scored enough this year. I don't think we've created enough. I don't think we've entertained enough.
You just don't know what you're going to get from Newcastle.
Smollings hits it through the legs of Edison and it's in. There's a chance in the far stick. Jack Taylor. My goodness.
I'm starting to think that some of these players aren't good enough.
If we do really well this year, if we do a lot of things right, then we'll be competitive in the games. We're not going to blow teams out of the water.
It's all go on Talksport all the time. Wherever there's football, we will be there.
We certainly will be. 50 live games over the festive period we've got across the Talksport network as well, you lucky things. This is EFL Game Day Live. 3 games across the network today for you. Faye Carruthers here on Talksport 2, live from Portman Road. Second half at Fratton Park is coming up shortly. Portsmouth are 2-1 up against Coventry after coming from behind. Over on Talksport, Manchester City's struggles continue. Pep Guardiola made 6 changes to that side that lost the Manchester derby last week, but they trail Aston Villa at Villa Park by a 1-0. John Duran on the score sheet there. Once this game is finished at 12:30, we're going to bring you another exclusive, this time in the Premier League, as Ipswich take on Newcastle United here at Portman Road. Our commentary team of former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and Talksport's Ian Danter are with me to look ahead to the game. Afternoon, the two of you.
Hello, Faye.
How are you?
Well, do you know, I've only just got up, to be fair.
What?
A nice little lay-in this morning.
He has. He can just hop, skip and jump in here from 5 minutes from home.
I know, how lovely for
25 minutes.
Wow.
Outrageous.
That
I
is
think I should be
good.
at Ipswich correspondent.
So are we coming to yours afterwards then for a cup of tea to warm up?
Little Christmas party, why not?
We should do.
I'm game. A little bit of eggnog, why not?
Disappointed not to see Christmas jumpers from the pair of you, I have to say. Look, I'm really excited about this game, but bearing in mind my track record over the last 3 weeks, every time I've said these teams score goals. They better do today.
Are you known as binary Faye? Is it 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, 0-0?
Exactly. It can't be like that today, can it? Surely. Not between these two.
Well, not with Newcastle. They're like a spaghetti western, aren't they? They're like the good, the bad and the ugly. The good, obviously, beating Arsenal 1-0 at home. The bad, losing 2-0 against West Ham at home, which no one saw. And the ugly, losing 4-2 away at Brentford.
Which I saw.
Which is like mayhem football. So we're not going to say about goals, Faye, are we? We're not going to even mention it.
Not going to jinx it.
Let's just say that we are going to be entertained here today.
Yes.
Is that a better way of going about it?
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. And the team that are likely to entertain us have just walked onto the pitch here at Portman Road as well. Probably a little bit warmer than it is up in the northeast right now. Yeah, they're just gathering in the centre circle. The Newcastle players having got off their bus a few moments ago to arrive. But Ipswich are going to be desperate to give their fans a little bit of a Christmas present, because they still haven't had their first win here at Portman Road since promotion back to the Premier League, and they've been so close on a number of occasions. It was a bit of a smash and grab last week against Wolves in the end. Fantastic late goal from them. Can they do it today, Dance?
Well, they'll be buoyed by what happened at Molineux, no question. What a great coach that would have been, going back to East Anglia, having picked up all 3 points. They can't keep clean sheets, that's one problem. No clean sheet in 12 for Ipswich, so if they're going to win today, you get the feeling they're going to have to score at least twice to do it. But I admire what Kieran McKenna has done. He's done, actually, Eddie Howe's here as Newcastle manager. There's not a great deal of dissimilar between what Kieran McKenna's done compared to what Eddie did when he was Bournemouth manager, and he took Bournemouth up into the Premier League. He made a few signings, but not wholesale changes to the squad. And he's saying to this Ipswich squad, I believe in you that you can carry on the good work from last season. And yeah, the results haven't quite backed that up, but football's a funny game. And if Newcastle defend anything like the way they defended at Brentford in the last game I saw, then Ipswich will score twice, and then we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we've got another game going on currently at Fratton Park. Sorry to cut you off, and we haven't had very much time to preview this, but don't worry, we'll be back at 2:30 to talk through this game a little bit more in depth and focus on both teams and hear from both managers as well. But the players are back out at Fratton Park. Portsmouth leading by 2-1 when we left Fratton Park at half-time. Can Coventry get themselves back into it? Let's find out in the company of former Liverpool and Aston Villa midfielder Ray Houghton, alongside your commentator here on Talksport 2, Nigel Adley.
Thank you, Faye. Coventry was sent out early by Frank Lampard for the second half, which is maybe a message to them as Pompey just re-emerged from the tunnel beneath us here and the old main stand at Fratton Park. And I have to say, before today, the last time I was here, Ray, was 2011, and they've made some changes, but the aesthetics of this ground haven't changed for donkey's years, have they?
I got told today from Mick, you know Mick, I was speaking to,
the press guy here.
I think they said they've spent upwards of 12 million on the stadium.
Well, you can see they've made changes, but the imprint of the ground is the same. It feels like the old Fratton Park.
Yeah, still feels like that. Still intimidating, isn't it? As I say, I used to love coming here. I love the supporters, proper football fans as I would call them, love their club, and they'll be delighted to see that the team have responded in the manner they've gone the goal behind to get the 2 goals to be leading at 2-1.
Well, Frank Lampard scored twice here in his Chelsea days, in November 2005 and March 2010. Chelsea always used to win here in the Premier League.
Frank scored quite a lot, though, didn't he?
Well, he did, yes, but they always seem to win at Portsmouth and always seem to enjoy some big victories as well, and Lampard was a key part of those results. No changes at half-time, so the Pompey team is Schmidt in goal. The back four is Swanson, Towler, Pack and Ogilvie. Potts and Dazelle in midfield. Ritchie, Lang and Murphy behind Bishop in attack. Coventry, Collins in goal. Van Avac, Thomas, Binks and De Silva. Sheaf and Torp, Sakamoto, Rodoni, Mason Clark and Bassett. And Coventry in their white shirts, black shorts and white socks, defending the goal away to our right in the second half, which has their fans behind it, and they should have the wind, but the way they've been playing, keeping the ball on the ground, I'm not sure that would be a massive advantage for them.
Yeah, well, listen, they've just got to try and make sure they keep themselves onside, the Coventry players. Keep playing in the manner that they have going forward. I think they'll create more chances that way, but they do look susceptible defensively, don't they? And the goalkeeper, he's not had his best 45 minutes, can redeem himself in the second, but certainly he was at fault for the first goal that went under him, having punched the initial corner that came in from Ritchie, which he didn't deal with particularly well.
Pompey, who were a goal down right at the start, but now leading 2-1. A crossing from Ritchie, looking for Lang, who is now on a hat-trick after his 2 goals after 14 and 43 minutes. Ritchie again down the left-hand side, and the cross-in takes a deflection off Van Avac, and goes behind for the first corner of the second half.
Yeah, John Messina, we wanted this exact start at the start of the second half where they're on the front foot. They're taking the game to Coventry, putting them under pressure, not allowing them to get the passing game going. They've got a corner, which they have looked very good from, haven't they? The set plays, I think, have been decent. More from Ritchie than from Potts, but delivery hasn't always been on the money, but certainly Ritchie's delivery with his left foot's been excellent.
2 minutes into the second half, Freddie Potts will take the corner, an in-swinger from the left. He also has Ritchie as the shorter option, and there is some discussion between the two players as Dean Whitestone sorts something out inside the area.
You watch the movement in the box from the Portsmouth players, where the starting positions are and where they end up, so they'll all move as soon as they're about to take the ball into different areas.
Taylor and Bishop look to close in on the goalkeeper, and it's headed in, and it's a hat-trick for Callum Lang. Such a simple set piece, whipped into that near post, and Lang completely unmarked, glided the header beyond Collins, and what a start to Christmas for Callum Lang. A hat-trick to start the festive period, and it's Portsmouth 3, Coventry 1.
What a finish that was. I talked about the movement, you can see it, I can see it from up here, the way they interchange positions, absolutely brilliant to watch. And defenders don't know where to go, because normally you stand in your area and you attack the ball in your area of the goal, but the movement was brilliant, and then the finish from Lang was absolutely exquisite. Just glanced it with his head into the corner, gave the goalkeeper Collins no chance whatsoever, and a perfect start to the second half for Portsmouth.
I'm not sure where Brad Collins was, because he was nowhere near the ball.
To be fair, I don't think he could do a lot about it. I wouldn't blame him at all for that. That was about delivery from Potts, movement from the Portsmouth players, then a clinical finish from Lang.
Well, 4 minutes into the second half, Portsmouth lead 3-1. 4 minutes into the first half, they were a goal down. But Coventry, who have scored the most headers in the Championship so far this season, giving one away there. And they're a team that will score goals, but my goodness, they concede them as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to do better with delivery into the box. You know, we said in that first half that the set plays for Portsmouth were excellent. Every time they were delivered in with quality, they looked threatening. You know, we've seen Bishop have a couple of half chances. We've seen Ogilvie from the full-back position in the 18-yard box having a couple of chances himself, and they just haven't dealt with it.
Well, Portsmouth, who were struggling for goals, only 9 here in 9 games before today. Now they've got 3 in 45 minutes.
But that's 9 now in the last 4 league games here.
Yes.
You know, 3 against, was it Preston, 3 against Bristol City, 3 today, and it was only the 0-0 against Norwich. Well, that shows you a good return, doesn't it?
Well, it does coincide with the return of Colby Bishop as well. I know he's not necessarily scored a hatful of goals so far, but I think his presence does create a room for others, and we've seen that here.
Frees up other players, doesn't it? That's for sure. But give Callum Lang some credit as well. I mean, his first goal that he got was a bit fortuitous, going underneath the goalkeeper Collins. He should have done better with the strike. The second one was brilliant, wasn't it? What a finish that was. And his third, glancing header into the far corner, also a clinical finish from him.
15 minutes played, 3-1 to Pompey. A throw in for them on this near side from Swanson. Aim for Bishop, but it's headed away. And we spoke about at the top of the commentary and how the festive period can be a turning point. You can gather points so quickly. And Portsmouth do have 2 tough away games coming up after this. The crowd here today, 20,330 with 2,194 away fans.
Who are stunned at this moment in time.
Absolutely.
The Coventry supporters behind the goal after a perfect start. Great chance to make it 2.
They'll look back on that chance for Bissett. Clean through, one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
You've got to finish him, haven't you? You've got to double the lead, and then, you know, you've got a team that are struggling for confidence, having lost to Derby 4-0. They would have been 2-0 down quite early on in that first half, and all of a sudden it's changed dramatically.
Well, only Hull had a worst home record coming into this game, but this would be 3 wins and a draw here recently. And they got 50 points here last season. I know League One is a different league literally, but there are so many differences between League One and the Championship these days, even for a club the size of Portsmouth. But they really lived off their home form, and any successful team, whether it's survival or heading up to the Premier League, you've got to win your home games.
Yeah, absolutely, and the manager will know that. As I said, I've listened to him in his press conferences. I've watched him on YouTube. He's been doing these coaching sessions, and I really like him. Young manager, got a good view of how the game should be played. He's got a team that he wants to work with here at Portsmouth.
And John Mousinho, I think, still has plenty of credit in the bank. They gave him a new extended contract at the start of the season. Rather than having wobbles in the boardroom, they decided to back their management team, which I think was a good sign, and a sign of the long-term planning here at Fratton Park. 8 minutes played in the second half. Portsmouth 3, Coventry 1. But you wouldn't rule out Coventry coming back into this game. They need to score the next goal.
What they haven't done, they haven't had any real attacks in this second half, have they? I mean, really, from the kick-off, it's been all Portsmouth. They've come out there with the bit between the teeth. Where we've seen a dominant start to the game from Coventry, we haven't seen it in the second half.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday, a player down but a goal up at home to Stoke after Deschamps Bernard's red card. Josh Windass has scored the opening goal at Hillsborough. Still 1-1 between Hull and Swansea. And in our Talksport commentary, Villa still leading Manchester City by a goal to 0. And in League One, still Bristol Rovers 0, Wrexham 1, Lincoln 1, Reading 0. And in League Two, Barrow 2, Fleetwood 0, Doncaster 1, Tranmere 0. Towler plays it forward now over the top for Portsmouth once again, and once again it was a purposeful run into the penalty area by Lang, who claimed he was the meat in the Coventry sandwich there, but he got nothing on the edge of the box. But here is Murphy coming forward again now for Pompey on this near side, but he's quickly challenged by Radoni. Now Sheaf allows it to run for De Silva. Mason Clark though is robbed by Pack, and Portsmouth have so much more purpose on the ball here, and in the end Gazelle wins a throw-in off Sheaf on this near side.
I think Frank Lampard must be looking to make changes. He's trying to settle things down with his team out on the pitch. It just look like they've lost their way at the moment, and at this level as well. Now, you've got to compete, you've got to put your foot in, you've got to win your headers, you've got to win your challenges, you've got to upset the opposition. They're not doing that often enough at the moment. A lot of the players have been on the periphery. In that first half, Mason Clark was a threat, hardly touched the ball in the second half. Sakamoto, don't think I've mentioned him.
Ogilvie with the crossing,
Bishop with a shot, magnificent save, but at the second attempt it's turned away, and then it's forced in, and goodness me, it is Callum Lang yet again. He's got 4. What a goal-scoring performance. Colby Bishop forcing an outstanding save from Collins. At the second attempt, he spooned the ball away, but Callum Lang was there to poach. He scored yet another. He's got 4. Pompey have got 4. What a start to the festive period here at Fratton Park.
I don't know who's more surprised, Callum Lang or the fans that are in and around us, because they're looking around at each other going, what is going on? Because this is quite incredible. The turnaround from the Portsmouth side has been absolutely magnificent. They came out with such a strong purpose in this second half, got the goal quite early to make it 3-1 from Lang, and that's the poacher's goal, because Bishop's done brilliant to get in to where he did after the ball was crossed in, forced the save from the goalkeeper Collins, who'd done really well to keep out, but the way the ball went up in the air and the spin on the ball and the wind, and the first to react, Callum Lang, in there where it matters most. That's where your strikers get your tap-ins, if you like, but you need him in the right area, and that's exactly where he was to get his 4th goal of the game.
Well, he's gone from 5 goals to 9 goals in less than an hour this season, and now Coventry are capitulating here. Torp has pulled down Murphy, and it's another free kick.
Just incredible how the game's changed, isn't it, Nigel? You know, you've watched a lot of football over the years, you've watched a lot of this division, I'm sure, and it's an unpredictable division. Things happen and change quickly, but the way that Coventry have capitulated in this second half would be quite worrying, I think, for Frank Lampard. Yeah, I'll go back to it's a young back 4, but they've got to defend better than this.
They're not learning lessons, are they?
They're not learning quickly enough. You know, you've got to grow up quickly in football.
Free kick, flighted in by Potts towards the far post. Towler on the lunge, but it's gone behind.
Every ball
and
that goes
it's a goal kick.
Every ball that goes into the box, they look threatening, don't they, Portsmouth? They look like they're going to get half chance, don't they?
Well, you talked about a 4-4 game at the start when your team, Fulham, came
about that, yeah.
4 goals down against Portsmouth 40 years ago, but I didn't think we would see one player scoring 4 today, and probably not Callum Lang, even though he's had a good start to the season.
Oh, fantastic. The manager's seen something in him and keep him in the team.
But Coventry here looking to respond, and well, there's a long time left in the game, but those fans look absolutely bemused.
Well, shell-shocked, aren't they? You know, they enjoyed the first half performance, the football going forward that they played, and now you're looking for characters out there. You're looking for leaders. I'm looking around and I'm looking at Sheaf, I'm looking at Torp, I'm looking at Redoni, and I ain't seen them commanding, hey, this is what we've got to do now. They're just looking around for help. This is where the inexperience in the team talks about the average age of just been over 24 years, and it's worrying to see what they're like at the moment.
Played forward by Bishop again, but it's cleared this time by Binks, but Bishop played forward by Lang again on the edge of the penalty area, and in the end it is cleared away, and there is the opportunity for De Silva to try and build for Coventry, but they lose out in so many challenges there, and eventually Ritchie slides in on Torp, who has stayed down inside the centre circle. The referee allows play to go on. Oh, there's a slip on the edge of the box there by Thomas. He's almost robbed by Ritchie, and eventually he will hammer the ball downfield straight out of play.
Torp's in a bad way in the middle of the park there, because he was fully committed to the challenge, but Ritchie just showed his experience. He got there just ahead of him, and Torp was a bit naive, I think, going for it. There's times when you got, not that you only pull out, but you think, I can't win this, and you've got to make sure that you just keep yourself okay. And they were about to make changes anyway, but I think they'll just have to wait and see how Torp is before they make those changes.
Well, there's a break in play here as Portsmouth prepare to take the throw in on the far side. Let's get headline team news from Portman Road, our 3 o'clock commentary here on Talksport 2. It is Ipswich against Newcastle. We say good afternoon once again to Ian Danta.
Hi Nigel, yeah, one change for either side, very straightforward here. Delap suspended for Ipswich, so Smodics comes in for him. Joe Linton suspended for Newcastle, he's replaced by Joe Willock. Those are the only changes. Kick off at 3, live on Talksport 2, Ipswich Town, Newcastle United.
Thanks, Dance. Here it is still 4-1 to Portsmouth against Coventry, coming from behind, and Callum Lang has scored all 4 goals. And Guy Whittingham, who was sat just in front of us commentating for local radio today, he scored 4 times in the game for Portsmouth twice, including a 4-1 win against Bristol Rovers in 1992, and Yakubu also scored 4 times in a win against Middlesbrough 20 years ago. But considering what's happened to Portsmouth since, I can't think there are any players who've scored 4 times in a game for them in recent times.
Well, I was going to ask you, is there anyone who's scored 5? Because there's every chance that Lang will score again.
And I think he scored 4 from 4 chances, because he's not had that many opportunities. I mean, Portsmouth haven't created that many opportunities, but they have a corner kick here, which Ritchie will take. And it's swung in by Ritchie towards that far post again, nodded down by Bishop, and this time it's claimed by Collins.
They've won virtually every ball that's come into the box, and you're looking at Torp, you know, you're looking at Sheaf, Redoni, Bassetti comes back there, Binks and Thomas. They've got big lads, but no one's competing.
Wide to the far side again, and Bishop, and Frank Lampard is about to make a triple change. Brandon Thomas-Asante, Josh Eccles and Joel Latabodiere will all be coming on. But again, Lang coming forward now, fires in the shot. It took a deflection and it skims the roof of the netting, and it's behind for a corner. He nearly had 5.
Someone, I could hear someone down at one of the fans shouting shoot. It was the most acute angle.
Well, he nearly scored.
But it came off the defenders, it came off Thomas, and just looked over the top of the crossbar, because Bishop was at the back post there just waiting for a tap in. But it looks like if there's going to be another goal in this game at the moment, it's going to come from Pompey, doesn't it?
Oh, they are all over Coventry here. Lampard is about to make the changes, but the horse may have bolted, and we're only just an hour into the
some comeback
second half. Absolutely. 1-0 down. could have been 2 goals down very early on. Now 4-1 up. The corner played into that near post again. This time it's cleared. Sakamoto, though, with a missed kick, and Torp will eventually hammer the ball long downfield.
Torp's not fit. He's really struggling out there at the moment. He's not moving freely at all.
Another high ball played forward, this time by Nicholas Schmidt, the goalkeeper, looking for Colby Bishop, and it's straight out of play, and it will be a goal kick. But the home crowd here absolutely buoyant.
Yeah, they are. There's little moments in the game that changes things, and certainly the first goal for Pompey from Callum Lang, which went under the goalkeeper Bradley Collins, was absolutely massive, because if Coventry could have kept it 1-0 and maybe got another goal after that, I don't think you would have seen the response from Portsmouth. But getting back to 1-1 in the manner that they did, all of a sudden you could see that they were the aggressors. And certainly at the end of that first half, got it to 2-1. But they started the second half so well with the goals that they scored.
Ellis Sims is also coming on as well. So whether they've decided to change things around, that it's Bissett who is coming off, who we have barely mentioned in the second half. Torp is also hobbling off, and Bobby Thomas is coming off as well, the central defender. So Sims, Eccles and Latabaudiere are coming on here for Coventry, as Frank Lampard looks to stem the tide, if nothing else at the moment, with his team 4-1 down and getting absolutely rinsed all over the field.
Well, they had to do something, didn't they? We would have been very unhappy with the second half performance, and I'm absolutely shocked at the moment that Sakamoto's still on the pitch for Coventry, because he's not really had a kick, to be honest.
Well, Josh Eccles, Coventry born, he'll come on in midfield along with Ben Sheaf. Brandon Thomas Asante has also come on as well, along with Ellis Sims. I think Efron Mason-Clark made way. He did. So 4 changes made by Coventry in the end, as Lampard tries to change the course of this game. But Dozzell wide to the far side, and now it's played high over the top by Ogilvie. Eccles with his first involvement. He'll step in before Callum Lang, and eventually he'll hammer the ball out of play on the far side for a throw-in for Portsmouth.
Well, not only does he score goals, Callum Lang, he's got great work ethic, isn't he? They're just chased a hopeless ball really down the channel, and he forced Eccles to make a decision, and he just allowed Eccles to play it out for a throw-in to Portsmouth.
Well, it's been a dramatic weekend in the Championship already. Luton coming from 2 goals down in the final moments last night to beat Derby with 2 deflected goals, and one of those
a game that was
shot from don't tell Faye that, she'll be happy as a Luton fan, but it was not the greatest of games, certainly in the first half.
But just a dramatic finish, wasn't it? All credit to Luton, they never gave up.
When the ball goes in off your centre half's backside, you know it's your night, which is what happened for Luton with their equalising goal before Colton Morris with the winner. And here today, Callum Lang scoring 4 times in 41 minutes.
Yeah, and he picks up some great positions. There was another opportunity down this right hand side. De Silva being caught out going high up the pitch, and Potts tried to pick out Lang with a pass, just a little bit too much pace on the ball.
Doncaster 2, Tranmere 0 in League 2. Still 1-1 between Hull and Swansea. And Aston Villa now lead by 2-0 against Manchester City over on Talksport. And the problems deepen for Pep Guardiola. That will be 9 defeats in 12 games.
Yeah, listen, it's quite incredible the way things are going for Manchester City. I think Morgan Rogers with the goal.
Morgan Rogers, yeah, against his old club.
I think he's done really well since he's came to Villa.
Well, Villa, of course, looking to steady their challenge.
I think I'm just getting to grips with, playing in the Champions League and then what comes with it. It's one thing when you play in the Conference or the Europa League, you play on a Thursday, but Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Here is Murphy now, firing the shot in just over the top. It took a deflection as well. And at the moment, every time Pompey have the ball inside the penalty area, they look as though they're going to score.
Well, that was 25 yards out. Murphy took the shot on, deflected off the Coventry player, but just took it over the top of the crossbar. I'm not sure Bradley Collins would have got anywhere near it, but once again an opportunity for Matt Ritchie with his left foot to whip this ball into the 6-yard box, where they've posed all sorts of problems from all the set plays they've had to do.
Ritchie will take it. And there is still a long time to go in this game as well. The midpoint of the second half, Portsmouth leading by 4-1, and if you've just joined us on Talksport 2, all 4 goals scored by Callum Lang. Ritchie with the corner, high to the far post. Bishop rising to try and keep the ball alive. Potts unable to keep the ball in play, and it will be a goal kick.
Said that 16-5 was big odds, wasn't it, for a Pompey win today?
Well, I would imagine they're a lot shorter now. Now Binks on this near side, hammered long downfield over the head of Radoni. Sakamoto unable to gather. Ogilvie will head away, and now Eccles on the Coventry right, quickly closed down by Murphy, who makes the challenge. And it's amazing when you get some confidence, players look to be 2 yards quicker, and Murphy there sprinted over to the far side, won his team a throw in and punched the air.
Not sure he could get much quicker than Murphy, can he?
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you know,
intensity.
Your intentions are quicker, you see things differently, you know, you're on top of your game, your movement's better, but he's quick anyway, isn't he?
He certainly is. 4-1 Portsmouth lead, and at the moment they are roaring out of the relegation zone, putting the pressure on the teams below them. Hull, of course, currently 1-1 at home to Swansea. Plymouth in action later on, along with Oxford and Cardiff. Coventry playing Plymouth in their first festive game at home on Boxing Day. Then they've got a home game with Millwall before a trip to Cardiff, so they'll have a say in the immediate battle to avoid relegation over the next 10 days or so. Swanson plays the ball in field towards Callum Lang. Wide to this near side. Swanson's cross is blocked. Gathered again by Murphy. Now Sims, though, will gather for Coventry. Wide to this near side, and Brandon Thomas Asante, the player who has struggled for goals since moving from West Bromwich Albion, just a single one this season, but 14 of his 21 appearances now have come from the bench. It's wide to the far side. Sakamoto slips, and it will be a throw-in for Portsmouth. Portsmouth over the festive period, away to Watford, away to Bristol City, and at home to Swansea.
Yeah, some big games for both clubs. It looks like we're going to have a Portsmouth win here, and that puts them only 4 points behind, doesn't it? Coventry.
Yeah,
they'll move on to
so
20, 24.
congested.
You're so congested down there, you just have to try and put a good run together, and you can do that over the festive period because you've got so many games in quick succession. You start winning one or two, confidence grows, belief's there. You know, the manager's job's a little bit easier. You don't train as much because you're playing game after game, so it's about getting your rest in and making sure that the manager just gets his team selection across and what he wants from him.
Well, with Swansea currently drawing, there is a 6-point gap between 10th and 19th as Paddy Lane is about to come on for Portsmouth, and it's Josh Murphy who comes off.
I think at this stage managers start to, because you've got a full one advantage, start protecting players. You think, right, game coming up in a few days' time, I might need him. He's used up a lot of energy, and you just said about Murphy, chasing people down and running from one side of the pitch to the other. The manager might just think, you know what, I'll just keep him fresh for the upcoming fixtures.
Well, Paddy Lane was tremendous last season, 12 goals and 7 assists. Only 1 assist in the current campaign for the Northern Ireland International, but he's coming into a team playing well here today, leading by 4-1 with 20 minutes to play at Fratton Park here on Talksport 2. Don't forget the big fight later on, Fury against Usyk, live and exclusive to national radio on Talksport from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia.
Who do you fancy for that?
I've honestly got no idea.
No, I don't know why, but I think Fury's going to do it. I just don't know why. Usyk, you know, in the first fight deservedly won, but I don't know, he's one of them unbelievable people, isn't he? He just gets himself ready for a massive fight.
Well, Fury, I think, needs to prepare maybe better for this fight than he did the previous one, and I suspect he probably has.
Yeah.
Brandon Thomas Asante with the crossing for Coventry, and it's claimed by Nicholas Schmidt.
And I think he's 4 stones heavier in Usyk, isn't he, going into it? So it'll be interesting to see the early rounds and if he tries to overpower Usyk. A bit like Portsmouth have overpowered Coventry here, haven't they?
Absolutely. You can hear that fight live on Talksport from Riyadh later on this evening. And of course, coming up more immediately here on Talksport 2, Ipswich against Newcastle at 3. Game day live with Adrian Durham over on Talksport. And we have a bumper Boxing Day. Every Premier League commentary available on the Talksport network or the app. Manchester City against Everton at 12:30 on Talksport, followed by Forest against Spurs, Wolves against Manchester United, and Liverpool against Leicester. And here on Talksport 2, Chelsea against Fulham at 3. Derby against West Brom from the Championship at 5:30, followed by Stoke against Leeds.
West London derby.
Yeah, rare to get a derby on Boxing Day these days, but I
Yeah.
suppose with so many London teams, they're difficult to avoid at times. Always used to be a derby. I remember when you were at Liverpool, you used to play Manchester United on Boxing Day now and again, and Manchester City as well.
I tried to get them games. They were never easy to play.
No. At the time when you beat everybody else apart from United. Now Rodoni, all the way back towards his goalkeeper once again, via Latabodiere, who clears downfield, and the Coventry fans are sticking with their team. Of course, it's been such a strange game in many ways. If they'll still be hoping if they can score one, you never know.
No,
but
I think.
But I think
the realisation will be there, Nigel. The way they've played the second half, that they've been well beaten. They're well in the first half, but the second half they've been second best all over. I can't remember Smith really doing anything in the second half.
No,
he's been redundant, isn't he?
Now Sheaf wide towards the far side, and it's taken down by Latabodiere, who just treads on the ball, but he's able to find Rodoni for Coventry. And now Sheaf again, midway inside the Pompey half, with 17 minutes to play on Talksport 2, and Portsmouth leading 4-1. And now a free kick has been won on the far side for Coventry by Eccles.
You've got to just take the time with this and deliver it into the box. You've got the big players coming forward from the back. You've got the likes of Ellis in the box as well, Ellis Sims, just to deliver the right ball in there. But you've got to go on the end of it. You've got to be ready for this ball being delivered in.
Rodoni is over the free kick here for Coventry, flighted high to the far post. Thomas Asante losing out to Bishop, but there was a push there before the ball even reached the penalty area, and it will be a free kick to Portsmouth.
Yeah, I think it's Swanson, wasn't it, the full-back that was in the box there, and one of the Coventry players, when the ball was delivered in, just pushed him over, needless.
Well, Coventry down the years have never had a good record at Fratton Park. This will be one win in 9 visits, although it's their first meeting for 4.5 years. Coventry, of course, up in the Championship, going up by points per game during COVID, and Portsmouth eventually following them after 1 or 2 near misses. As Latabodiere is challenged on the far side by Bishop, and it'll be a free kick for Coventry by their corner flag. And well, Frank Lampard will have always known there were going to be days like this, and after playing well in defeat at West Brom, he's got maybe a dose of reality, and his players have today.
Well, absolutely. They got the victory, was against Hull, was it, last?
Yeah.
2-1. Done well to win that game. He'd have been hoping, and he said before the game, we played the tape of him talking about today's game, and they said, we know it's going to be a very tough game for us, and he was absolutely right. Now, they could have made it a lot easier if they got that second goal when they were on top. When Bassett went through 1v1, he should have doubled the lead at 2-0.
Here is Ellis Sims going forward now. He was onside, but the ball swirled away from him in the wind.
Do you see the wind? Just take it straight through at the goalkeeper, doesn't it? Do you know what, though? Instead of acting on it, he looked round to the assistant on the far side to see if he was offside. Things like that, you've just got to go. You've just got to, if you're offside, the flag will go up, but you've just got to make your movement towards the ball as quickly as you can.
Well, bits of rubbish and plastic bottles blowing all over the playing surface now. A reminder of the scores elsewhere in the lunchtime kickoffs. Over on Talksport, Villa 2, Manchester City 0. Here in the Championship, Hull 1, Swansea 1. Sheffield Wednesday now leading Stoke by 2-0. Callum Patterson adding to the earlier goal from Josh Windass, all after Deschamps Bernard was sent off. In League One, still Bristol Rovers 0, Wrexham 1. Lincoln now lead Reading by 2-0. Rico Hackett with the second at Sincil Bank. And in League 2, it is Barrow 2, Fleetwood 0, and Doncaster now lead Tranmere 3-0. Latabodiere plays it wide towards the far side, and he now clips it high and long downfield again, looking for Sims, beaten to it though by Towler. And Portsmouth popping the ball around now with the confidence of a team who...
And it's strange though, Nigel, where you, in that first half, Coventry got a lot of joy playing the ball over the top, utilising the pace in the team. They've not done it once. I can't remember once in the second half where they've actually got someone, even with Sims coming on or earlier on when Bassett was up front, they never made that run, they never played that ball, so they were never a threat. So Portsmouth could defend it.
Here's a cross into the penalty area, which is helped away by Swanson, but gathered now by Thomas Asante at the far post on the left. Laid further back, the cross in from De Silva is headed away. Now Lane, De Silva though tries to win it back. It squirts across the penalty area, and in the end Pompey will try and clear, but Potts was outnumbered and Latabodiere has it. And Frank Lampard just standing there, arms folded, almost leaning back in his stance, surveying what he's seeing here as his team come forward again on the far side. Latabodiere with the cross, and it's high and overhit, and I think Callum Lang is about to come off for Portsmouth to be replaced by Owen Moxon.
Yeah, I'd also say that I'd be watching Bishop, because he's not been moving freely, and you don't want to, you know, like, just keep playing someone for the sake of it. I know he needs minutes on the pitch because he's been out for a while, but at the same time you need to try and protect him as well. No advantage keeping them on with the scoreline the way it is at the moment. You know, the 3 points are fairly assured at the moment, aren't they? They're very difficult to see a way back for Coventry the way that they're playing.
Goal kick on the far side, which will be taken by Schmidt. And the home crowd here, it's a real rarity this season for them. They are sat back and they are enjoying what they're seeing. No pressure on them.
I've seen Father Christmas over the far side with one of his elves, so he's not got a lot to do now. get ready for the 25th. You'd be busy, wouldn't you?
He's
got a few days to the 25th, so he's all right. He's watching Portsmouth.
Always the last minute. That's always his problem.
You see him
That's why he's always there in the middle of the night.
Yeah, over the far side.
Oh, yeah. Well, presumably nobody needs a bell here at Fratton Park for Christmas. Now Binks again, all the way back towards Brad Collins, who was culpable for the first goal, but he's had absolutely no cover since. Sakamoto, the ball ballooning into the path of Potts, I think, who's gone down on this near side, and it will be a free kick.
Potts, isn't he, Freddie Potts? A real competitor. You know, him and Dozzell in Mither Park, they're not eye-catching, they're not doing anything spectacular in possession of the ball, but their work ethic, work rate is absolutely tremendous, and very much it's key to the way that this Portsmouth side play.
And it's all been about hard work. They stuck in the game in a difficult spell early on.
Nothing wrong with that, you know, at times. Nothing wrong with hard work. It's not always about who looks the prettiest, who's the most effective.
Well, in the second half in particular, they have been by far the most effective team. From the moment they went 3-1 up, this game was only heading one way. Callum Lang then poaching the fourth as a free kick high into the penalty area. But again, Coventry will clear, and it's taken them a long time to actually sort themselves out defensively, and too late from their point of view, as the flag is up for offside on the far side.
Yeah, Lang was caught offside
against Lang.
Yeah, lovely ball though from Towler, wasn't it? His left foot, fully 45 yards, and standing ovation for the man of the match, and the man that's got 4 goals in the game that you won't ever forget.
There is the applause for Callum Lang, the first Portsmouth player since Yakubu in 2004 to score 4 times in a game. This club has been to hell and back since, but is today the day when they have finally begun to establish themselves in the Championship, all thanks to the goals of Callum Lang.
Yeah, nice Christmas present to the Portsmouth supporters. 20,300 here today?
Yeah.
2,100 or thereabouts of Coventry fans, so 18,000 Portsmouth fans in here hoping for a victory, and Callum Lang's come up trump with the 4 goals.
Well, what a huge day for him, and what a huge day for Portsmouth. They could be out of the relegation zone if results go their way. Frank Lampard making another change. Ben Sheaf coming off, their captain, and he will be replaced by Jamie Allen, and I'm sure that is all about minutes.
Yeah. I mean, got to say, I thought Sheaf in the first half, alongside Tope, were pretty decent, technically very good, but second half they've been non-existent, really. They've got to learn. It's not always about when you've got the ball, it's what you do when you haven't got the ball.
Mason Burstow has put Hull 2-1 up at home to Swansea, so two of the three teams in the relegation zone at the start of the day are currently winning.
You're going to see lots of this over the Christmas period. You're going to see results like that because it's just an incredible time of the year with so many games in quick succession.
So Hull 2, Swansea 1, Pompey 4, Coventry 1 here as Pompey come forward again, but it's run out of play by Owen Moxon. Still Sheffield Wednesday 2, Stoke 0. In League One, Bristol Rovers still trailing Wrexham 1-0. Lincoln are 2-0 up against Reading, and in League 2, Barrow 2, Fleetwood 0. It's been like that for a long time, and it's now Doncaster 3, Tranmere 1.
Did you say Sheffield Wednesday went down to 10 men?
Yeah, Deschamps Bernard sent off in the first half when it was 0-0.
So they're 2-0 up with 10 men?
Yeah. And if you're Stoke, that's a particularly bad defeat, because I know it's not always the case. People often say it's easier to play not against 10 men, but you think at half time
I'd rather play against 10 than 11.
Yes, yeah. Well, in the teams you played for, you kept the ball a bit better, maybe. And Tom Cannon's just missed a penalty for Stoke as well to compound their day. Into the closing 5 minutes here. Free kick for Ritchie on this near side, which is headed away by Latabaudiere. Clipped back into the penalty area by Ogilvie. Headed clear by Binks and then Thomas Asante. Swanson with another ball over the top. Ogilvie is onside as he gathers and just unable to take the ball in stride. He would have been clean through inside the area.
He tried to control it with the wrong part of his foot. Instead he controlled it with your instep, which should have been out in front of him. He controlled it with the outside of his foot, which got more momentum and took it away from him and out for a goal kick.
Molenbeek winning the header, but it's nodded down by Latabaudiere for Coventry. Stay with us here on Talksport 2 for Ipswich against Newcastle coming up at 3 o'clock live from Portman Road, with all the goals as they go in with Adrian Durham, and also live reaction as well from Villa Park, where Aston Villa currently lead Manchester City by 2-0.
The drop-off had been frightening from City though, isn't it? One win in 12, was it 12 or 13?
I mean, Rodri's a good player, but come on.
You shouldn't be at the level you're at the moment with such a talented group. You've got to question what's gone wrong at the club at the moment. I mean, I've seen in the general play's nowhere near what they were doing last season. I mean, it's fairly evident, because they were the best team I've seen. A straight ball with an angled run from the fullback, and when they do that, they get in behind teams. They've stopped doing it. They're doing it twice, 3 times in matches where they used to do it 15, 20, 25 occasions. They're not doing it anywhere near it now.
Well, it happens.
Not to this alarming rate. Not to this alarming rate.
Liverpool were a great team. I'm not. It coincided with you leaving, but when but even before you left and went to Villa, the team were slightly on the turn, weren't they?
Yeah.
Manchester United, of course.
Yeah.
So
it can happen.
Football can, even in the midst of all the money at the top of the Premier League, there is still an element of cyclical football, and it's a good job there is.
And the other thing you've got to do is make sure that the players that you bring in are better than the ones that are leaving, and I think that might be the problem at Man City at the moment.
Well, it was the problem at Liverpool during your time. I'm not talking about yourself specifically, but the players that were brought in were not as good as those who were leaving. And for those of us who remember that time, it was a bit of a shock, but it happens. It will always happen, and that's football, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's not something that Pep knows too well, though, isn't it?
No, exactly. Yeah. And when it happened to Barcelona, he left, but he's just signed a new 2-year deal. So it's an interesting situation, of course, which you'll be able to hear his views on Talksport and also here on Talksport 2 later on. We're into the final 3 minutes here. Portsmouth leading by 4-1. Coventry fans are now beginning to leave in their numbers. It is snarl up Saturday, they say. Well, their defence was certainly snarled up for a portion of this game when they conceded 4 goals to Callum Lang.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at the technical areas. Frank Lampard's actually just sat down now. You know, John Massigno's still out there trying to encourage his players. They'll be delighted with the reaction that he's got, as we said, after the defeat to Derby last time out. For Frank Lampard, it will be worrying that just the way they capitulated and the goals that they've given away today, starting with the goalkeeper's error when they were 1-0 up. You know, when he straight at him and Bradley Collins let the ball go underneath his body, he should have saved that.
Unsurprisingly, Callum Lang has been named as the man of the match.
That'd be one of the easiest ones.
Yes. I mean, no offence to anyone else, but
if anyone else got it,
not nothing against him, but it's just one of those days where it could only
the only
go
way
to one
it
man.
couldn't have gone to him was as if the parents were here to pick man of the match of one of the other players.
Well, I think even if Callum Lang's parents were picking the man of the match today, then no one would have any complaints. An historic day for Pompey. First time in 20 years that one of their players has scored 4 goals in the game. Now Sakamoto coming forward for Coventry into the final few minutes here. Latabodiere wide towards the far side, and the cross is delivered in towards that near post, but it's gathered by Schmidt, who is grateful for something to do, maybe.
Well, not only that, but listen, give him a bit of praise as well, Schmidt, because we'll go back to game-changing moments. 1-0 down, Bissett goes through 1v1 and he makes that massive save. Because 2-0, I don't think Portsmouth would have come back at that stage of the game. It was all Coventry at that stage, but to keep it at 1-0 kept them in the match, and then they got a bit of good fortune after that. But they've been good over the course of the nearly 90 minutes that they play. They've been good value for the victory.
Latabodiere with a long ball downfield, seeking out Sims. And Coventry looking to build with Radoni on the far side. And now Sakamoto, he will take on Ogilvie. And he comes in field again, and Coventry with Van Eyck finding it very difficult to create. It is difficult to remember any sort of opportunity they've had in the second half.
I can't remember one. I really can't. I just thought Portsmouth was so positive at the start of the second half, really took the game to Coventry, and Coventry looked like they weren't ready for it, weren't ready for the fight that was coming their way. Mind you, come up against a lad today in Callum Lang, and he's got 4 goals, and the first one, as we said, was lucky. The keeper could have done better. Second one was quality, smashed into the top corner. Third one was a deft header, brilliant header. And the fourth one for me is a poacher's goal. He's in the right place at the right time. You sniff out half chances after the goalkeeper had made a really good save from Bishop, but he was first to react to it.
We're heading towards added time. There will be 4 more minutes, and it's a game which can't end soon enough for Frank Lampard. Unchanged team for this game. I can imagine there'll be changes for the game against Plymouth at home on Boxing Day. Radoni now cutting inside, firing in the shot, beaten away by Schmidt. Sims was having his shirt pulled there inside the area by Swanson, but
he didn't complain. Look at Sims, he's not even complained. So I don't think it was. If that was me and I was getting pulled back, my first reaction would be the referee, what's going on? But if you look at Ellis Sims now, nothing, no reaction from him that he's been pulled back. Goalkeeper could have done once again. I know it's a modern thing with goalkeepers that you palm things out or you push them away, but he's pushed it straight back out into the middle of the goal there. The first real mistake we've seen from Schmidt.
Well, it was a chance right at the end for Coventry, and they've conceded the most goals at this stage of a season since 2013-2014, when they were down in League One playing their home games at the Sixfield Stadium in Northampton. Of course, they're in a very different place now under new owners, and they have the high-profile manager that he appeared to be looking for. But days like today will show Frank Lampard that there is plenty of work to be done, although you suspect he would have known that. He's been trying to build the players up in the early
he would have
weeks.
seen this drop-off in the second half and the other 4 games that he's been involved in. That would have been a little bit more concerning for him, I'm sure. But they'll work it out. We'll come back to they're a young side, they're still learning, still growing up, they're going to make mistakes, but you've got to learn quickly in football.
But a Portsmouth team who found it so difficult to score goals this season have come up with 4 today. They'd only scored 8 second-half goals before today this season, and they've got a couple here, both from Callum Lang.
You keep saying that now, but go back to the last 4 games, they've scored 10 goals.
Yeah. I know there's been a big upturn, but it just shows how difficult it's been for them even before that.
Yeah, before that, but then Bishop wasn't playing as much. So there might be...
It wasn't playing at all.
Yeah, but be relevant factors why it wasn't going the way it was. And yeah, they had that defeat to Derby, but they've responded well. They've got the goals today, and they can take that on to the next game. It's Watford, isn't it? Next game, is it?
Watford away, Bristol
Watford
City away, Swansea at home.
Yeah.
So they will view those games now with a good deal more confidence.
Yeah.
They'll be heading around the M25 to Vicarage Road. I'm sure a big crowd will go
dinner
there.
will taste a little bit better now, won't it, for everyone?
I'm sure it will, and I'm sure the players will be in Christmas morning.
Oh yeah,
training.
absolutely. Yeah, you've been training. Yeah.
Late goal for Bristol Rovers. They've equalised against Wrexham at home in League One. Promise Omasheri with the goal at the Memorial Stadium. Wrexham, a team towards the top end, of course, but their points return away from home is not spectacular. They've really been living off their form at the racecourse. Now Sacramento delivers a cross into the penalty area, headed away at the near post by Dazelle, and there was no Coventry player waiting to apply the finishing touch.
Well, that's a bit of quality we've seen from Sakamoto, isn't it? Lovely bit of skill. Just fainted to whip it in with his left foot. Unfortunately for Ogilvie, he bought the dummy initially, went on his backside, and then Sakamoto got on his right and should have done a little better with the final delivery. Wasn't quite of the quality required.
De Silva turning into trouble, but he gets the free kick. He's been caught by Owen Moxon, who himself may have come off worst in the challenge, but Coventry continue. But it's all over. What a day for Portsmouth, and what a day for Callum Lang. He scored all 4 goals as they turned around an early deficit to absolutely dominate Coventry City here and move out of the relegation zone just before Christmas. And maybe today is the day that Portsmouth finally arrived as a championship club. It's a day that Callum Lang will never forget, and Frank Lampard will have seen just how much work he has to do in his early days as manager at Coventry City. Full time at Fratton Park, Portsmouth 4, Coventry City 1.
Well, I mean, I said after 45 minutes, Ray, that was a fun 45 minutes, but unless you're a Coventry fan, that was a fun 45 minutes from a Pompey point of view as well. And from Callum Lang, I can't believe that was actually his first senior hat-trick, and he goes and puts a cherry on top of it with that 4th goal as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Fantastic performance from him.
Yeah, you want to give all the credit to the Portsmouth players. It could have been quite a different game. 1-0 down, and then they could have been 2-0 down. Goalkeeper makes a magnificent save to keep it at 1, and then they showed a lot of bottle, a lot of endeavour to get back in that first half to lead 2-1. But I thought the second half they were excellent. They've not got eye-catching players, apart from Lang was eye-catching today. I've got to be honest with you, he was absolutely brilliant, quality finishing. But the work ethic, the attitude, and I said that before the ball was kicked to your face, if they show commitment, they show attitude, this home support will stay with them. And they certainly done that throughout the 90 minutes, and that was just the result they needed. Having lost to Derby in the manner that they did, to respond in the way that they did, to get the victory and take that into the game against Watford on Boxing Day. They'll enjoy the next few days, and they're out there celebrating with the fans and thank them for everything that they did today to get them over the line.
Absolutely. Do you know what? In the course of a season, sometimes I feel as if a battering like the one that they had against Derby last weekend can sometimes do a team the world of good, because they wake up and just go, do you know what, we cannot play like that again. They've clearly, John Mousinho has put them back to basics, told them what they're good at. They've done what they're good at. He's made a couple of changes in defence, and they reacted from going a goal down early on, and it ended up being a fantastic team performance. Even though one player stood out, the rest of the team stood up as well.
Yeah, but what you'll be asking questions about of the players now, Faye, is I've seen you at home, lads. Last 4 games you've won 3 and you've drawn 1. You've scored 10 goals in them 4 matches. It's your away form, it's letting us down at the moment. What are we going to do differently as a team to get better results? Because I think in the last few matches they've only got 1 point away from home. I think I'm right in saying the last 3 games they've lost a couple when they got the draw. But that's been it. So they're going to have to change their fortunes away from home, and that starts against Watford. I think they've got 2 away games, and then they've got Swansea here on New Year's Day. So the next 2 matches are going to be huge for them. But they've got smiles on their faces. I'm just looking at the players out on the pitch at the moment, and they're just making Lang run over to the crowd, and he's just done the old fist pump. I think it was 4 I counted there for the number of goals that he scored today. He looked a little bit reluctant to do it, but just shows he's a team player. It's not about the individual, it's about the team getting the best result, working hard for each other. They're all out there celebrating with the crowd, as is the manager, because he had a bit of a hard time with the defeat to Derby. He'll enjoy today and he'll enjoy tonight.
Yeah, he certainly will, but that away form really crucial for them. Watford and Bristol City are their next 2 away games. For Coventry though, they have an opportunity to bounce back against Plymouth, who are bottom of the table currently. Hull have lifted themselves off the bottom of the table with a win today. So they're going to have to approach it in a better way than they've approached Pompey, for sure, because you can't underestimate these teams in the bottom 3, because they're all capable of pulling out results. What do you think in terms of the positives for Frank Lampard to take out of this performance, or does he realise that he's got a lot more work?
None in the second half.
No.
I mean, it'll be interesting to hear what Frank says afterwards. Well, now you'll probably go down and interview him in a few moments' time. Be interesting to see what he said in the changing room to the players, but more importantly when he comes out and speaks to the media and puts his point of view about what he's seen throughout the 90 minutes. I think he'll be reasonably happy with the first half performance. There was good signs. They could easily have been 2 goals to the good, but they weren't. But he'll be worried about the way they defended. Nigel mentioned during the commentary about the number of goals that they've conceded. You can't keep doing that. We've talked about they're young, but you've got to grow up, and you've got to grow up quickly in football, or else things will just pass you by. And that could be the case here. So be interested to see what they do in the next fixtures that they've got. You said Plymouth, they're expected to win that. No guarantee in this division who you're going to beat was proved once again today.
Lampard against Rooney.
Oh my goodness me!
Yeah, that'll be interesting, won't it? Yeah, that'll be good for the managers' reactions and their press conferences. And we hope the game lives up to it. Today, I'm going to give all the praise to John Mousinho and his players, because I haven't lost the way they did to react to going a goal behind and get 4 goals today. All credit to him. And obviously, there's one player in particular we have to mention. That's Callum Lang. His finishing today was absolutely superb.
Yeah, it really was. He was superb, and it was a fantastic game of football for you guys to witness and for us to listen to. So thank you so much for that. Brilliant work as always. If I don't speak to you beforehand, have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you to Ray and to Nigel for their commentary. Oh, thank you very much.